Hello and welcome to Tea Leaves Programming. Today we are gaming like it's 1979. A while ago I did a full playthrough of the classic Mac puzzle game Fool's Errands, and one of our fans indicated that they would love for us to do the same thing with 3 and 3. With 3 and 3, of course, is the best of the puzzle games that Cliff Johnson made. A lot of times while I was doing the Fool's Errand playthrough, I actually thought to myself, man, I wish I was playing 3 and 3 instead. So we're going to try and do it. I'm not going to promise that I will finish this playthrough, but I'm going to give it the old college try. This will definitely take more than one session, so if that's not your jam, I apologize, but here we are. 3 and 3 was a 1989 game, so here we are with our Mac emulator, and let's jump right in. I'm going to try very hard to give commentary as I play. This is not going to be a silent playthrough. You're going to be full of lots of my extraneous opinions. I also want to say that this is going to be a tool-assisted playthrough in the sense that I'm not going to bash my head against these puzzles forever. I already finished this game once. I don't have anything to prove. If I get stuck and I feel that the video is getting boring, I'm going to resort to a walkthrough. I know that there's a website, it's been around forever, called J is Games. I will resort to that if I get completely stuck. Hopefully I won't need to do that too often. So here we are, and we get a prologue, a kind of animated introduction to the game. And we have some guys doing stuff with a spreadsheet. I really like the art style here. There's no artist credited for the game, or at least none that I noticed, so I have to imagine that Johnson did this art himself. Fix that 3 at the top. I like to tell myself this is Lotus 1, 2, 3. While we're paused, I'm going to have to figure out how to deal with the sound effects in the game. There's a lot of them. Almost every move you make triggers some sound effects, so I'd like you to hear them, but I also don't want them to overpower my voice if I have something to say. So I may have to zero in and spend some time zeroing in on the right sound balance. If you think I've got it wrong, please leave a message in the comments below. The fact that this is a color game in 1989, I know that sounds crazy, like DOS and IBM PCs had color for years at that point. The Mac had color as well, but the Mac had a very bifurcated product line where the black and white only machines were much, much cheaper. And so this was actually, by my recollection, one of the first games that I had played that made heavy use of color. And I played it in the lab at school because I could not afford a color Macintosh. This... happens all the time. "100% accurate to how things actually work inside a computer. A lot of people are unaware that there's all this stuff inside your computer chip, but this is why they're so expensive to make, why Intel is having all these problems. It's very hard to make these things at that scale, but you know, our manufacturing pipeline is just amazing. Very ominous soundscape. Love the use of that font there. Very 2001 A Space Odyssey typeface. Alright, so this is the first puzzle in the game. It's called The Lift. As in The Fool's Errand, we have all of these, right now, unselectable puzzles. And over here, these are puzzles that can be selected. So if you get stuck on one of these, you can jump to one of the ones that have a triangle. And you can see the order of these is very unclear. Like we went down here to the lift. So the order of the plot doesn't follow the menus. And if you pull down where it says the lift here, you will actually get a hint or an explanation of what the goal of the puzzle is. So let's go ahead and see. Use the elevators to transport the 3 to the other side. And generally you can get an additional hint if you click on the 3 herself. Well, that's not happening here, perhaps because it's registering the clicks on the on the lift. So we have these numbers here. If I recall correctly, these numbers tell us what will happen when we click on it. So this is -1. That will move the lift down. And if the 3 can move to another lift, she will. And I think if she can move to the left or the right, she will always move to the left. A note about gendered language. My recollection is that canonically in-game 3 is referred to as she, so I'm going to do that, at least until I find out that I'm wrong. Let's go ahead and move backwards here just to see it happen. Yep. I think you can also reset by Command R, maybe? No? How about Command B? Okay, I'm wrong. There's no reset. Maybe if we leave and then come back. In fact, why don't we try that? Oh, I've triggered more plot. There. Her and she. So I feel okay about the gendered language there. Let's go back to the lift. No, it actually saved my state, so there is no way to reset. That's very interesting. Let's see here. Oh, I also want to save the game, don't I? All right. Now, what I recall from this puzzle is that the first one is very straightforward, or feels very straightforward, and then subsequent ones start adding different rules to how these lifts move that are not always immediately apparent. And I always found this one super frustrating because those rules were not obvious to me. So here, let's try this. We're going to move down by 1, this one. And you can see this one shuffled down out of the way. So that's clearly the rule there. I can go down there. Right, 1, 2. Right, so whenever we make a match, this one moves down out of the way. Well, this one so far seems perfectly fine. Right, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. So I move this one, I'm gonna trigger it. So I gotta do that. There we go. All right, we have finished our first puzzle. All right, and it brought us to a new puzzle, different than the one we did before. So we're going to see the same types of puzzles over and over again, just like we did in the Fool's Errand. Some of these puzzles, I guess there's 5 sections, so I don't know if that means there's 5 of each. I feel like some of them, like in Fool's Errand, overstay their welcome a little, and you'll hear me complain in particular about the mesh puzzle. So we're on half a notion, or half an ocean. A puzzle compounded may leave you dumbfounded. We have what looks like a crossword here. All right, and as we switch between them, we have a clue down here, which is changing whenever we change clues. Can I click on the clue here? The 3 here for help? This is harder than it looks. All right, factory workers, an aristocrat, high price stock, country music, bird, 3 letters, architect's drawing, award for the best, fruit, and a color. So there's a pattern here. I remember this puzzle, so I'm not going to pretend to suffer through it, but once more you can try to guess what's the commonality between these things. An aristocrat, high price stock, factory workers, country music, bird, architect's drawing, award for the best, and a fruit. I think I would have started with a high price stock, which is a blue chip. And a factory worker is a blue collar worker. At this point, you've heard the pattern. It's the word blue, and one of these clues is color. So if we do that, that's now the key. And now everything else should be straightforward. My recollection is that that's a blue blood. Country music is bluegrass, blue jay. Architect's drawing, blueprint. Award for the best is a blue ribbon. And a fruit is a blueberry. Before I type this last letter, this is going to be a problem we're going to see. Some of these puzzles really lend themselves to replaying over and over. Some of them, like this one, if you know the answers, they're going to be trivial. And for those, you know, there's going to be spoilers in this. If you're watching this video, there's a non-zero chance that you are a Generation X nerd and have in fact played this game before, so I'm not really spoiling anything. If you haven't, you know, it's a good game. You might want to play it before watching this video. All right, let's type the last letter. And we get more plot. You gotta quit hanging around all those artsy fonts. What's blue got to do with it? And here we are, yet another lift puzzle. So this one is lift off, huh? Okay, so we've, I'm going to try and see if I can notice what the pattern is to move through these puzzles. So we've moved from here, the lift, to half a notion, and then to lift off. This is one where I think we're going to see I'm trying to be alert for any pattern. Ah, okay, so something just happened there. What was so I've played this game multiple times. I've never really figured out what the pattern for these more later lift puzzles is. So let's see if we can do it. Okay, I think I get this one. And this is so obvious in retrospect. I don't think I'm kind of mad at myself for not knowing. I think what's happening here is that if you line up any two lifts that don't have the 3 on it, it triggers some sort of movement there, and I'm not sure I understood what exactly was going on. Let's see if we can figure out the exact pattern. The one to the left moves down, the one to the right moved up. No, and that time it was the opposite. I'm not sure I get the actual pattern there. But now that we know that, we should be able to avoid it, I hope. No, well, unless we don't care. Right. There. And the place where this really hoses you is when you're trying to set something up and you accidentally move one past another lift. Right. So if I move this up 2, then that's going to trigger it. So we want to do this. That down 2, that up 2. Good. Right. One, 2, 3. This one's tricky. One. Wow, I'm having trouble on this one. There we go. And there's a case where I just triggered it accidentally. Could have been bad, but I got very lucky. Yeah, so I think you just have to make sure you're not accidentally going near another one. Like this will, but that's okay actually. In that case, I wanted to do it. Right. Up 1. Oof, I got hosed. Once again. Right, that could have been very bad right there. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2, 3. Good. Oh no! Fall from grace. And we've moved once again from here, over one and up one. Lots of wordplay in this game. All right, this one I recall being very difficult, which is funny because it only has a small number of permutations. In 3 moves, rearrange the letters to spell the correct new word. The letter atop an elevator determines what kind of move will occur when that elevator is selected. Each elevator has 3 possible moves. And here it's telling you if you click on the 3, could be satin or stain. Well, there's only 3 moves, but there's 5 permutations, and I think it's actually more complicated than that. Let's start clicking and see what we see. Okay, so S, when it's atop this elevator, swaps number 1 and number 5. And I think the thing is that what it does changes depending on which elevator it's on. So if we click the S again, it did something different. Maybe it moved back? No. It's awful. Well, that's interesting. So A is swapping in both of these cases. Can I reset? Reset up there. Command R. So does A always swap? Let's see if I can make it swap. So T did the same thing as S there, just swapped those two, didn't it? Yeah, I do a lot of random clicking when I do these, and I think I've solved most of these through dumb luck or brute force rather than by figuring it out, which is clearly not what Cliff Johnson wants, but I think the puzzle lends itself to that. So if we wanted to get... Let's think about this without clicking. If we wanted to get satin, then that would involve the T moving here and the I and the N swapping. And if we wanted to get stain, then all 3 of these would have to move over 1. The T would have to move here. Right? So that feels wrong somehow. That also feels wrong. That moves our N to the end. And at this point, if we were going for satin, we're 1 move away in theory. If we were going for stain, okay, so there's satin, and that's not the answer. So it has to be stain, right? So we would need to swap that T and that A, and I don't know what move will do that because I'm not writing it down. Because I'm lazy. Well, that gives us the ST. And that undoes it. I hate it. I hate it. I just, like, I get that what he wants me to do is to get a big piece of paper and write down every possible move. The problem for me with this puzzle is I want this puzzle to have a greater pattern or a greater rule, and then I'm using inference to figure out what should happen when I click on an elevator. But that's not the puzzle. The puzzle is there's a big ass matrix of 5 times 5 possible moves, and he wants me to write down every move in that matrix and then figure it out. I hate it. I hate this puzzle. Hate it, hate it, hate it, hate it. Dislike, don't like. It's bad. It's a bad puzzle. And it's a shame that this is very early in the game. I feel like I wonder if this puzzle and the you'll see it later, the red, green, blue puzzle. I wonder how many people lose interest at this puzzle. But I got Satin, and it did. I even hate the plot of this particular one. All right, probably we are on the 3rd. Yes, there we are. Lift up. So let's keep our eyes open for a movement pattern. All right. Oh, if I move that one up, I'm going to get screwed here. I just know it. Ha ha ha. All right, so this one I remember the pattern. Any elevator that moves down, presumably without something on it, triggers the one to the left to move up, maybe? Bite me. Here, so it should be safe to move this one down. Let's watch what happens. No, so that one didn't. So I don't know what the pattern is. No idea. So I moved that one down 1, this one moved down 1. Moved it down 2, it moved up 1. Maybe it's because this is to the right of the 3? Like maybe it's okay to move the one the 3 is on. See, that's fine. That triggered a move. Oh, but that move was next to another one. So that rule from the previous puzzle, lift off, is still in play. That might be what's going on. Right, 1, 2, 3. Oh, bite me. That one gets me every time. I see what you're doing. More so than when playing almost any other game. I have to edit this one for curses. I'm usually pretty relaxed when playing games, and not when I'm playing 3 and 3. It makes me mad. This game makes me mad. More, maybe it's a good sign of a great puzzle game, right? Yeah, so there's a lot of like collapsing the elevator that you don't want to steal it away if you can. Like here, I can't do that because to move this, it'll steal that back. 1, 2, 3. All right. Shoo. Locate the clues below, enter the correct word. And once again, we've moved to the right to category 4 and up 1. All right, where are the clues? They're not there. So I'm just going to move the mouse around. 3 does not have a great suggestion. We've got these background elements. Those don't seem to do anything. I'm not clicking doesn't do anything that I could find. Well, there's these lifts. Those are not active in any way. Locate the clues below. Is there anything outside the boundaries of it? Not that I can see. What? Okay, so clicking to the left of it? No, clicking to the left of these doesn't do anything. Clicking to the right of these on the right. I guess. Right. It's not even, you're not even clicking on these wires. It's just to the left or to the right with no visual indication. Again, is that good puzzle design? I don't know, man. I remembered this game very fondly, and I have to say, playing it now with like a critical eye, it hasn't aged well. XTC. DAT. NME. Uh-oh. So are you starting to see what I mean about puzzles overstaying their welcome? Like, 3 lifts was about right. 4 is exactly where I'm starting to get tired of the lift puzzles. And it looks to me like there's at least one more after this. Oh, hate it. Hate it. Hate you. Like, again, I'm going to ask the question, is it fun? I don't know, man. The thing about these lifts puzzles is they are designed in such a way that they almost feel malevolent. Or they feel malevolent to me. Okay, it does feel like the lifts are not moving when I'm clicking the actual 3 itself. So I think the way I got through this one was deliberately trying to engineer a situation where the next move would grab the 3 and then move it, scoot it out of the way. Like there. One, two, three. See what I mean about malevolent? Ugh. All right, we're very close here. Can I do it? Well, if I just move this. There we go. Now, I want to point out here, again, this is a case where the rules outstrip my interest in figuring them out. I came up with a heuristic to solve this puzzle. I did not figure out the rules of this puzzle. And I have to think that's common. Is it beast? Is it fruit? Is it stone? No, no, and no. The letters of 3 words have been jumbled together. Selecting a letter will move a series of letters along a hidden path. Pressing the Option key will reverse the direction of the path. Alright, so let's just click on something here. Let's press the Option key and get it back. Alright. So I think I just remember the answer to this. You can probably guess by looking at it, given the letters, but I think we're going for animal, vegetable, and mineral. So this one feels like a loop. That there's a path there. This moves only things here. So the N is in position 1. Let's rotate through. So that's moving them backwards. And if I hold the Alt key, they move the other way. This is a loop going here, right? And is there anything else? Okay. So this is, so the key here is that for each of these two, we could essentially swap a letter into and out of this middle position, right? So what if if this middle one is vegetable, right? Maybe we could build this from the bottom back. You know, I had about 5 minutes of really interesting video where I carefully solved this puzzle and then realized that I was not recording. Oops. Sorry. Anyway, to reiterate, possibly twice, this top level finds yourself on this path. Your bottom level moves everything here, swapping with that letter. And the middle just rotates. And so now that I've solved animal and mineral off screen, sorry, the question is, how can I swap letters in this middle row, but at the end of it, end up in the same position on the bottom row, right? That's the question. Well, let's try something. So we've got an A here and an E here. And what I want is I want an E to be here. So let's work with the lower word because animal doesn't have an E, right? Let's move that A here. And we need to get that A out of the way. No, I feel like this is basically assembly language, right? I need to store some value, then swap it, then swap back the original thing that I stored. All right, so I want an E in this position. So therefore, I need a new E, right? So let's use this E. And let's store it there. So now I have an E here. Get our V back. I want the E put here, so I'm going to pop it out. And there I go. Right? But now I need to I want to get that A. I want to re-swap that A with an L, I think. No, I've done violence. Wait, there we go. Okay, and I did it. I got the E there, and this is back to where it was. So let's do that again. We actually want to swap this G and this B, right? So let's... Neither mineral nor animal have a B or a G, so it doesn't matter which one of these we do. So let's stash our G there. Then rotate the B into place. And then pop the G back. Okay. And then do that. No, I messed up. Okay, veggie. Now I want to swap this T and this B, so we're going to do a similar thing. We're going to store the T, rotate this, pop the T, now I've got a problem because I really want that A. But I think I should resist the temptation, right? Because then I'm screwing up mineral twice. Well... Now I want an A. Can I take a shortcut here? I don't think there is a shortcut. I think that the problem is no matter what, I'm going to have to swap these things. So even if I were to like, oh, I'm going to use this A in the middle of mineral, I feel like that's begging for trouble. So we want to do the same thing as before. We want to stash that A, rotate, pop the A, okay. And now we want to do the same thing with the B and the L. In this one case, would it make more sense to do the L first? Because then... Nah, I don't think so. Let's stick with our plan. Pop the B, push the B, rotate, pop the B, we did it. Hopefully I can manage the rest of this recording without forgetting to record. Okay, so here, this is our first meta clue, right? This, obviously it's the word experience, right? But somehow this is going to be used in a puzzle later. Cliff Johnson loves this, and it's probably one of the things I like the most about his games. Really? All right. All right, so these are swapped. Such that... I wonder if there was a way, if I'd pressed the right one, if it would have just solved it. So I want this elevator to go up 3. That would be perfect. So I'm going to click this one. It's mirrored, essentially. Likewise, this one should move down 2. That did not work because I clicked the wrong one. Oh, good, and they're still doing the thing. Lovely. One, two, three. Move that out of the way. Move that down. Oh! It's the worst. I hate you so much. All right, we're almost halfway. That's pretty good, right? If I move that back, it'll move... I don't know what's going to happen if I do this. Oh, it actually moved it the right way. How surprising.
It's one small step for man, one giant leap for mankind.
Okay. Right, it should move up 1 and 2. Down 2. Good. Let's see, this will move it up 3. Let's move it out of the way. Okay, very close. I want this one to move up. I think that's it. That might be our last lift puzzle. What's this? So this is one where it's a terminal node, right? We finished this and it did not bring us anywhere else. So we've unlocked a few different... Well, let's just start going down here. What letter makes a taxi complain? Type the letter that correctly answers the question. For example, what letter makes males angry? A, because it makes men mean. So, males, men, taxi, another word for a taxi is a cab. So, R would make a cab crab. This feels like a very, what was it? Wait, Don't Tell Me, the NPR show that has games. Will Shortz doing games. That's what that feels like to me. What letter makes a male sheep wander? O makes a ram roam. I also don't want to, again, I've played this before. I've thought long and hard of these. So if I seem like I'm going through them quickly, it's because I've heard them before. What letter makes a boy happy? G makes a lad glad. Fur firm? No, fur fair. A needle blush, pin pink. Flying insect into a vegetable. Maybe a bee into a beet. Old cold. Ice. No, not ice nice. It's got to be ice. Vice. What letter makes your household animal a nuisance, a pet into a pest? What letter makes a truck conceited? Truck. Come back to that one. I don't actually remember. What letter makes a young man float? A boy into a boy. A buoy. What letter makes a female deer fall asleep? Shikandoko, shikandoko. Doze. Your relatives humane. Makes your kin kind. What letter scares the fuel in your car? Makes your gas gasp. A night bird, an owl, howl. Makes a point fuss. Maybe a dote? What makes tree fluid, sap, brittle? Sap snap. What letter makes a picnic insect desire, an ant want? English is weird, right? Like, why is one pronounced ant and the other is not pronounced want or aunt and want? English sucks. What letter makes a paper sack, maybe a bag, brag? What letter makes Noah's boat, that would be an ark, yelp? Ark bark? There's a lot of these. What letter makes wry humor, wither? Wry humor, wither. I mean, does dry humor? Irony? No? We'll come back to that one. What letter turns one guy into a crowd? What letter heats up a battle? War to warm. What letter makes a performance a reality? Show to shown? No? Okay, so now we're back to ones we've already done. What letter makes a truck conceited? I keep coming up with cab for truck. But that's not it. Performance. Play doesn't seem right. An act. An act can become a fact. Well, I'm having trouble with truck. So what about conceited? What are other words for conceited? Proud. Vain. Oh, come on. A truck is not a van. Wry humor. Wither. Well, doing the same sort of thing. Yeah, that's all right. Oh, one guy is a man. Why turns him into many. The letters are fighting. And here's our meta clue. So I think this is one of the bits of the end game. And as we solve puzzles, this letter legislature is going to populate. And then once it's fully populated, we will be able to try to solve it. All right, we can't do anything with this yet. When the chambers are full, return. Okay. So where is the letter legislature? Back here. Okay. Let's just continue on. Oh, it's our protagonists. Our heroes who kicked off the plot by using spreadsheets. No backups. Locate the clues. Well, now I'm wondering if I have to click again. I see 3 letters. O. 3 letters. C. 3 letters. Could be SEA. Excess. Ivy. Easy. Empty. A lot of saying it out loud helps. I. Envy. Decay. 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 Just stress. Shows you the importance of stress. So just to be, I'm positive these have to be fully filled out correctly. I'm going to call that Mike because I want to see what happens. Obviously, this is going to be coexistence. I want to see what happens if one letter is wrong. Yeah, it's got to be decay. Absolutely, of course not, perhaps. So, yes, no, maybe. So, looks like that. Aha! So this just rotates that. But this just does these 3 letters, right? There's our yes. So we want to swap this in. All right, how do we do that? Let's see. I want this to be an O. And then I want an S. There we go. Yes, no. Yes, no, aim B. We did it. Okay, maybe not. So how do we do this? I recall this one being maybe a little easier to solve. So here we want to swap that A and that M. So can I do it this way? I'm going to do option as my stash and no option as my pop. So stash the A, rotate this, pop the A, and I've completely messed it up. What did I do wrong? Oh, actually, I think I'm almost there. Oops! Alright, so how do I get this back? Well, what happens if I do this? I think I just did it. There we go. Select another scene. Okay. I recall account for yourself being awful. Maybe I'll pick something else. Actually, I've been recording for, I think, about an hour. Maybe this is a good point to cut this video and say, this is where we're gonna pause for today. I don't want this to turn into the 3 and 3 channel. I think this has been a good run. I will be back about a week or so. All of these videos will be on early access. We publish our videos early for our members. We have 3 levels of membership, the first of which is just saying thank you. You get access to some videos that the general public doesn't get. Often no commentary playthroughs of games, and you get access to almost every video about a week early. You know, if you're not a member, we're still glad you're here. Thanks so much for joining us here at Tea Leaves Programming. This has been Gaming Like It's 1979. We're playing 3 and 3 from 1989. Thanks for watching.